Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm.
Happy Sunday. It has been really busy because today I released the cover of Curse of Blood and Sight to my Patreon members. Tomorrow, Monday, I release it publicly so everyone can see it. And then Tuesday is the release day of Curse of Wings and Darkness, which is book 1. And so it has been very busy. I also finished writing Frozen as Friends this week and have started to go through and do my self-edit on that. That has to go to my editor by Tuesday. Quite honestly, I'm a little worried I'm not gonna get all the way through it, self-editing it myself. And so I'm really just focusing on hitting the big points because I did make some continuity errors in this draft. They're really easy to like swap out, but because of the way they're written into the book, I do kind of have to go through it to catch them all. It's not something where I can do a find and replace. So I am going through it all to make sure that's set, and I'm trying to do as much editing as I can with the time I have before I send it off to my editor. Because honestly, and this is something that I really wish my own clients would know. Well, I think they do, but it's something that I think anyone that is pursuing editing for their book should know, is that the better you edit your book, the more your editor can do for you, because they're not going to be spending so much time on the small things that you could have caught. They're going to be able to spend more time with the big details, like line edits, making sure things sound great as they can, and not just changing your grammar and syntax. So they can actually do more for you if you have the time to go through and edit it yourself. And so I wish I had a little more time to do that, because I usually put quite a bit of work into editing my own stuff before I send it to an editor. It's why I only pay for one editor rather than having several rounds with a professional. I only pay for one professional editor because I feel like I write pretty tight to begin with, and then I do the most I can with my own editing time. So that is what I have going on the next 2 days, really just 2 days of this week. And hopefully the rest of the week will just be kind of like celebration of releasing this really different book that I haven't published anything like this before. It has a lot of traction online. My ARC readers have been super great. This is by far the most ARC readers I've ever had for a project, and that is already paying off so much. Speaking of ARC readers, I need to actually sit down today and send out another email to them, and I need to look into some other stuff. I have a lot of moving parts, and so I'm trying to be super careful with my expenses right now, just because I don't typically have a lot of expenses month to month, because I'm not usually doing as many things. But now that I have the shop open and other stuff going on with release week and things, I need to look at my budget for this month, because what I would really love to do, I would really love to like maybe send out a little thank you to my ARC readers. I'm thinking just something super simple. Like, I think it'd be fun, because I didn't do any physical ARCs. I only did ebook ARCs, and I had a couple people that were a little sad about that. But I thought it maybe would be fun to send out like a thank you note, maybe a bookmark, and maybe like a book plate for free. Mail that out to my ARC readers, at least the ones that are like willing to give me their addresses and stuff. So I need to look at my budget, I'm thinking surely that is doable, but also stuff like that can add up pretty quick. And I'm more concerned about like the timing of it. If I have too many expenses at once, it makes me a little nervous, even if they aren't really great big ones. But like, for instance, I'm getting ready to do a signing next month. And so I don't want to spend a lot of money right now when I have to buy book stock and stuff. And that's always a big expense, just in case I need the funds for something last minute, especially since I'll have a book in the editing phase. So I'll be paying an editor, and then in October, I'll also be paying a freelancer for cover design for Trial of Flame and Wings, which releases in the spring. So needless to say, there's a lot going on, but welcome to the vlog, because I'll take you guys with me through all of it, and it'll be really fun because it's release week. So release week is always super exciting and nervous, and I'm feeling a little bit of all of that. So I'm gonna get back to what I was working on. Finn has pizza. I've eaten a little bit, and let's go on to the week, release week. Happy Monday! Tomorrow is release day for Curse of Wings and Darkness, which is the very first book in a new series I've written. It is a steamy vampire romance. It will get steamier as the series progresses, and I am so excited for release day. Oh my goodness. There's a lot more buzz around this release than any of my books before, like a pretty good amount more. And so I'm really hopeful that it will do super well in the early days and really launch into like a pretty good amount of success off the bat. So let's hope. Today is also the cover release for the sequel, Curse of Blood and Sight. I will put that up on the screen as well, so you can check it out, along with a little bit of what it's about, yada yada yada. I think you guys are going to love this book. So aside from release week things, what else do we have? This week is going to be an editing heavy week. I start with a client that I've already worked with. We're doing copy edits now. We start today. I am a little behind getting back to her. And I think she's a little bit behind too. So we will link up today. I'll get a good email going and we'll chat about that. I am also finishing this week with a client. And so I have a lot of editing work, and just because I am between books a little bit. I just wrapped up writing Frozen as Friends last week, and everything for Winter Witches, which releases November 1st, is pretty much squared away. So tomorrow, Frozen as Friends goes off to my editor, and so I will kind of be between projects, and so I'm using it as a little bit of a week off on my side for projects, and I'll be working on all of my clients' stuff most of this week. So that's this week. Next week, my plan is to return to Trial of Flame and Wings, which is my dragon-esque book. That's going to be a lot of fun. I am dying to get back to that, to more of an epic fantasy-esque storyline. So that's pretty much what I have going on for this week, and I guess a little into next week. So exciting stuff.
Oh, and come on, stop.
Oh goodness, it is so windy today. Oh man, I just about flashed everybody at Finn's school on the way in to drop him off this morning. Whew, it's been an adventure already. It is release day. I am all dressed up in red to match Curse of Wings and Darkness, my steamy vampire romance. It is out today. The ebook is fully available on Amazon. I activated the paperback copy last night, but it seems like it's still working its way through the internet because I have not seen it available yet on any platform. It does say on Ingram Spark and Amazon both that it is available, but I think it's still kind of working its way through. That happens. It says it can take up to like 24 hours-ish for it to populate to the website. So hopefully that will go through soon and won't be the full 24 hours, because that means the paperback will not be available until 8 o'clock if that is the case. Woo! I have already gotten a lot done amidst my stupor. I am really tired. I sent out my newsletter. I sent out my ARC email to all of my ARC readers, call to action to go and move all of their reviews to Amazon. Fun fact I learned pretty recently, Amazon seems to push books that has, or at least reviews, I don't know, but also books that have reviews that feature photos and videos. So if you are an ARC reader, if you can leave a photo of the book, or maybe if you do like TikTok reviews, maybe post a TikTok review along with like a written review to Amazon, that actually seems to help books, I've learned recently, or so I am told. So I also pitched that in my ARC email. So hopefully I will get a really good amount of reviews go up today, because if a book can do well or increase interest on day one, then that will help boost it in the algorithm and help push it out to more potential readers. So far so good. It is only 9 in the morning, and so I'm trying not to get too excited because it has been a bit of a slow start, but again, it is 9 in the morning. And so some people are just waking up, running around, getting kids off to school or whatnot. So I'm not too worried. Woo, it is really windy. Let's go inside. Other things on today's to-do list. We also have the live stream party today for the release of Curse of Wings and Darkness. So that goes out. Also, just kind of happenstance. This was so nice. I got an email as I was sitting here doing all of my promo work and newsletter and stuff. I got an email from Instagram that I had a $15 credit. They were just giving out that kind of stuff to people who are using, I think they were like people who are using the desktop version or something along those lines. I didn't look super closely, which is probably not the smartest thing, but there was a $15 voucher to boost your post with Instagram. So I went in and I boosted one of my posts, and I decided just to use the $15 and not use any extra of my own money yet. So it worked out to be, I set it for 3 days, which is perfect because on that 4th day, I have a ad that will go out with the Fussy Librarian. And so hopefully that will push the first few days up to the week of this book's release and hopefully really launch it into a good start. So that was super nice. Again, we have the live stream release day party at 1:30. I need to gear up and get things set up to do the giveaway announcement that day, or not that day, at that time. So I'm gonna do, I think, one of those live wheels, and I'm gonna import everybody and we'll do the wheel. I still haven't decided exactly how I wanna do it because I may just put first names in. That might be what I do. I didn't end up having a lot of people fill out that pre-order incentive form compared to the number of pre-orders I actually had. So that's okay. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna continue on. And I'm already brainstorming what I wanna do for pre-order incentives for Curse of Blood and Sight, because something I haven't told you guys, but you'll find out when this video's out, Patreon members already know, but I am planning to also put up pre-orders today for Curse of Blood and Sight. I've decided it seems like too far away, but I know myself and I work best when I can oscillate between projects. And so like I found out last year that having Winter Witches, a lighter romance to break up the darker one, really helped my creativity. It really helped me stick to deadlines and fill my creative cup, and ultimately led to a lot more better outcomes. So instead of just continuing on through this whole series like as quick as possible, I've spread it out just a little. This book series is much darker, it's very vampy, very fall. And so I decided that I will publish the subsequent books all on October 1st of the next few years. So Curse of Blood and Sight will come out October 1st, 2025. So it is a year away, which is a little sad. It feels like a long time away, but there will be a lot of other books in between that. So Curse of Wings and Darkness is today, Curse of Blood and Sight's next year. In the spring, I'm planning to do the same with the Dragon fantasy series. I will publish that in the springtime every year because I think it fits really well in the spring. And then in between that, we will be working on the lighter Season of Witches books, which have more of a contemporary feel, but they're still fantasy books. So that's my plan, to try and break things up. It seems to work well for me. So there will still be 3 books a year, but these series will be spread out a tiddly bit. So I'm really hoping that doesn't bite me in the butt, but that is why I really want to get the pre-order out for this book today. That way I can catch people and they don't happen to forget about it. So for people who read a lot of books, my worry is that those people may blow through this book, love it, and then kind of forget to come back to it since it is an unfinished series right now. So I'm gonna try to hook people by getting a pre-order up and available today. So I think that is actually what I'm going to do right now, is start getting that stuff up and running, get the pre-order available for Curse of Blood and Sight, and yeah, we will go from there. Hello, it's Thursday. It has been a while since I've updated you guys. It was release day for Curse of Wings and Darkness when I chatted with you guys last. So release day was good, really good. And I feel like I've had more interest as things have progressed, just because lots of people, my ARC readers have been super, super lovely. I'm still waiting on reviews to come in to Amazon, but most of my ARC readers, it seems, have shared my book in other ways as well. So I've had Goodreads reviews, but I had, in the last couple of days since my release, I've had lots of people giving my book shout outs on social media. So there's been a lot of sharing in that regard. And I definitely can tell that that's boosted things with the book. So release day was not as big as I thought it might be, but as other people have shared out posts, the days after release have been more steady. So I am very pleased with how everything has gone. This has definitely been one of my best release days I've ever had. And I'm very hopeful. I have a post on Instagram boosted right now. I think today that actually ends. And then tomorrow I have an ad going out with the Fussy Librarian, and I'm really hoping that does well, because a while back I tested that out and I ran a free book promotion and I had well over 1,000 downloads of my book just from that ad. So I'm hoping that this time around it will work similarly, except this time my book is not set free. It is $5.99. The ebook has not been reduced. And so I'm hoping that it will still have the same bang for my buck, and I may see quite an increase in sales from that tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am hopeful. But aside from just being hopeful and having a good release day, I'm also like, I feel like I'm a day behind for my edit for my client. The book is due back to my client today, and I still have a couple chapters I need to finish editing. I looked at the page count though and compared it, and it's actually more like 20 pages. So I'm not that far off. I'm gonna heat up some lunch, go inside, and I am going to finish editing that. I have a little more time today because my mom picks up Finn from school, and then we have family dinner. And so I'm hoping that I can wrap all of that up, get my notes finished off, and email that document to him before I go to family dinner. That way it's still all on time, because today is the day that I return it to him. So worst case, I don't get quite finished and I return it to him either this evening or early tomorrow morning, but I should be able, with as much that's left, I should be able to wrap it up and get it to him before 4 o'clock today. So that is what we are working on today. I also ran to my local indie bookstore. I love Putnam 6, which is the bookstore near me. And we are collaborating for a book signing on October 12th. So in the next Saturday. So I will be there at her bookstore to mostly to promote Curse of Wings and Darkness and signed books and stuff. But I'm also going to order some stock for some of my past releases, and we'll have those available as well. So that's everything coming up in the next few days. So things are good. I feel like we are just blowing through the last of 2024 because I am already getting prepped to start planning goals and all things for 2025. So man, it's really dark in here. So I'm gonna heat up lunch. We're gonna tackle that, see how far we get with edits, and yeah, I will chat with you guys in a bit.
I was yours for the taking. Guess I needed a home, but if I'm not mistaken, you were good on your own. Oh, and I know I was drunk enough. Didn't know it would mess me up, yeah. Now I'm truly awakened up. So you wanna talk again?
Woo! Good morning. It is Friday. It is about 11:30. I've spent the morning at the coffee shop working. Mostly it's been it's been writing stuff. I wrote a few drafts. I ended up with 3 drafts of the blurb for Frozen as Friends. I'm pretty pleased with the 3rd one. There's a template I use for things like summaries and book blurbs, and so I put kind of a sneak peek at that template, but also I put all 3 drafts of the blurb on my Patreon. So if you are curious how I write book blurbs and what my different versions typically look like, because they do kind of end up looking similar, different books of course, but it's funny the way that they kind of, like, the style I write them in is the same no matter what draft of it is. It's funny. It would make sense if you saw a bunch of them, but I did put all 3 drafts on Patreon, including that part of that template I use. And I do plan to put the entire template, like a fillable template for you guys on Patreon, so that if you are also an author or a writer, you can use that template to develop your own blurb if you need one. So that's mostly what I did this morning. I've been checking sales because today I have my ad with Fussy Librarian out for Curse of Wings and Darkness. So I've been checking sales information and trying to track analytics from the ad. And let's see, what else? I started to read through my draft of Trial of Flame and Wings. This book is super fun. It's very, very much a fantasy forward book. It's written in a fantasy world. There's an entire mythology behind it. And honestly, this book is written very differently than any of my other projects because it's a fantasy book. So the style is a tad different. It is still very much me, but the tone and everything is quite a bit different than like even Guardians of the Sixth Gate or anything that I've written that's more urban fantasy. This is a fantasy romance. There is romance in it, but it is much more fantasy first, romance second, I would say. And yes, there will be steamy scenes in every one of these books for the Trials series. So I'm really excited. I think what I'm going to do today, rather than continue writing on Trial and Flame and Wings, I think I might sit down and read through what I have left of the draft. I found myself skimming a lot of it, and I think just to get back into the style and the voice of this project, because it is so different than some of my other books, I think I'm going to read through what I have already just to make sure that where I pick up, everything fits together. Because sometimes if you leave a project too long and then you come back to it, sometimes you can tell. Like I've read books, mostly indie books, but I've read books before where I could tell an author took a little time off at one point in the book and then came back to it, because the voice, it's super subtle, but the voice does change a little if you're not careful. And so I want to ensure that that doesn't happen. So I think I'm going to sit down and kind of put together a plan as far as what drafting this book looks like, and also how that fits with formatting and everything I need to do for Frozen as Friends. So we are yet again in publishing / drafting mode. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get back to this book. Fantasy is what I like to write the most. I really like writing the romance stuff also, but I just really like these deeper fantasy plots. I don't know what it is. Just love them. So I'm excited to get back to this book. So I'm going to head home. I'm going to eat a little bit. I do need to clean the house at some point, so I may do that in between, like maybe doing some reading sprints. That may honestly be the way I kind of work today. So we'll do that. And then tonight I will also have time to work. So I'm hoping I can read through the whole draft during the day, pick up Finn from school, and then because Alex has to work a football game tonight, part of his principal duties, I'm going to spend the evening, hopefully, drafting from where we leave off with Trial and Flame and Wings. So that is the game plan for today. And then into the weekend, I think we're going to be able to spend some time with friends. So that's super exciting. So that's what I'm hoping for. All right, I'm going to wrap stuff up here with you guys. Let's go home and get started. It is Saturday. I have a towel on my head because I showered about an hour ago and I'm still kind of drying my hair. I'm trying to see if twisting it all up will add a little more body to it. So it's Saturday. I did a few things late last night that I didn't show you. So last night I played around with Amazon a little bit and I ran my first ad campaign. I haven't run an ad campaign in like well over a year. It's been a very long time since I've run an ad. Like I think the last one I ran was Guardians of the Sixth Gate. It's been a long time. And the last time I ran one, I used a company and I just I don't know, something just didn't quite work, and I ended up spending a little more than what I ended up earning out. And so I hit pause, and then this last year I decided I wanted to dive into the world of free advertising with social media, just to get kind of a baseline to see where everything fell. We're getting close to the end of the year, so I've had almost a full year of doing that, and I've been doing a lot of research and playing around on social media with paid social media ads, and I feel like I have kind of figured out, or started to figure out, some things regarding how I can make them work for me and my particular books. So I have been doing a lot of thinking and researching the last really month about Amazon ads in general. And so last night I sat down, bit the bullet, and I started an ad. So we will see how that goes for Curse of Wings and Darkness, because that's the ad I ran. And hopefully we will get more bites from advertising, because that would take a load off of me for sure and make things a tad easier on my end, so I'm not quite so exhausted with constant marketing daily. We are all getting ready at the Prokopis household because we are going to have like a late lunch with friends. We're gonna go play, have our kiddos together, and just enjoy time. It's been a long time since we've been able to be out with friends, just because the beginning of the school year is crazy in the world of like an educator and working in education. So Alex's principal duties have been really busy, and our friends are also educators, and the beginning of the year for them is full of other events as well. And then Alex works a couple different jobs, and those are also busy this time of the year with events. So it's just been really busy, mostly for him, not so much for me, now that I am out of that world, and into the therapy side of things and authoring and editing. So this is the first weekend. Long story short, this is the first weekend we've all been free to spend time together. So I am very excited. I think I've been like chomping at the bit for some social time outside of just going into work every day. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a really good time. Hello, we are back home. It's been a little while actually since we've been back home. We had a lot of fun at our lunch with friends. Yeah, it's been nice. Fun fact, I actually just filmed a whole thing for you guys while I was outside with June in the dark, and I don't know, I don't know. I don't like the way things sounded, and the film quality did not look good, but I do think it's something super important to share. And so I'm going to refilm it again. Basically, this happens to me every time I have a book release. And while I was outside, I actually compared it to when I used to run marathons or half marathons. I trained for a marathon. I did not end up signing up for a marathon. But when all of the training for a marathon is grueling. I mean, it's long hours. It's hard work, consistency. You have to dedicate yourself to it. And it's just a lot. There's just a lot of time commitment into it for one day. And that one day is exhilarating, which is sort of like release. You put so many months into writing, creating a book. And if you're an indie author, you put so much of your own money into doing that in hopes that you will earn it back out, essentially. And so release day is a lot like the day I would run those half marathons. I would feel so good. There would be like so much adrenaline pumping that the run would actually be, it would be difficult and there would be some challenges, but it would not be nearly as challenging as I had anticipated it because I had done all this prep work. And so I could enjoy the run and it felt great. And by the time I crossed that finish line, it was just like a huge celebration. I was exhausted, but it was exhilarating. And then the next day would come after that one day I had prepared months for, and I would be so tired. I would be so sore, and I would feel that way for the next couple of days. And that is kind of the way I feel every time I release a book. The days after feel very strange. Letdown is not really the right word at all, but it just feels like, honestly, it feels a lot of times for me when I release a book, the days after feel really slow and like I'm waiting for things to happen, because there's always that hope, and you work yourself up that this book is better than the last one I wrote. And it should be, because we all grow and develop as we go, and every book we write should be better than the last. And that's always been true for me. And so there's just always that shoot for the stars mentality that I have. And so when I get there, and then the next day comes, and of course, things like the likelihood of things being a runaway success immediately is very low. And I know that realistically, but the days after just feel really strange, and putting something out into the world and no longer being able to come back to it and work on it and have it as your own is really weird too. And so in the days after releasing Curse of Wings of Darkness, I have had, I've had kind of a hard time. I've been having a little bit of a pity party for myself, quite honestly, because things have been they really have. They've been better than my last release. I'm selling more books than I ever have, and things are going really well. But just like anything with growth, it's been really incremental. And so I think in some ways I've just been having this pity party for myself, because I had also hoped that things would be a runaway success in the back of my head, and I had to kind of give myself a pep talk. And so this afternoon I've been thinking a lot, and I do this I don't want to say often, but when things get tough, I ask myself all the time, would you ever step away from being an author, or would you ever give up on your dream of being the best author that you can be? And the answer is always an obvious no. Of course, I'm not going to step away from it, because that's just what I do. It's what I enjoy doing. Writing books, aside from being a job, is what I do to relax, it's just my creative expression. And so it makes me feel better to do it. And even when things are really, really difficult, or a book is really difficult to write, I always feel better after I have written any of it. And so the answer is always no. And so the truth and the honest reality of it is that anything I have accomplished, even as incremental as it has been, is a success, and I have been successful. And so ultimately, for everybody, we define our own success. We decide what makes us successful, and that's going to look very different for each individual. But ultimately, as long as I'm doing better than I was before, then there's no reason for me not to feel successful. And that's the reality. I've done better each time I've released a book, and it has been a consistent uphill. And in some ways things have gotten easier, because I've put in all of this work and made all of these changes so that I can do more of what I enjoy doing. And so that has actually made things easier than what they used to be as well. So I've just been having a little bit of a pity party for myself, I think, because when you put so much work and so much of yourself into things, sometimes it can be really difficult when other people aren't as excited about it. And I've heard this all over the place. Everyone has said this to me. I've heard other people say it to other people. I've even seen it on the internet, but nobody is going to care as much as you do. And that's the way it should be, because if it's something that you're chasing, you should be at the forefront of it. You should be leading the charge. But that's just the truth. No one is going to care about your dreams as much as you are. And so, yeah. Basically, I've been feeling bad about it. So this afternoon, I went back to what I always do, which was that piece like, would you ever step away from being an author, or would you ever give up on your dream of being better and better? And the answer is always no. And then, funnily enough, another author reached out to me as I was sort of in the process of having this conversation with myself. And this author just was looking for more advice, just wanted to kind of bounce ideas around. And I realized as I was looking at this author's books in their platform online, I realized, you know, that was what I did when I had sort of the same following and where I was in my career as this person was. I was doing the exact same thing that they were, which was trying to find more information and better myself. And at first, what I wanted to say was that I'm still figuring out things too. I'm not the expert. I don't know if I'm really the best person to ask about marketing advice, which is what they were asking about, because that is also an area that I am constantly struggling in. But then after I looked at that a little deeper and thought about my own journey and my own experiences, I realized, well, you do have something to offer this author. And if anything, at the very, very least, it is just support and sharing another indie author's journey and showcasing their hard work. And if that's all that I have to offer that person, that's honestly it. Like, that's honestly a lot, having been there myself. So that was really humbling in itself. That's not to say that like I'm ahead of anybody at all, because I am not, and we're all on our own journey. And there's a lot to be said for each person's work and the genre they write in and where they are in their own life. And like I said, everyone defines success differently. And so that's not to be any kind of commentary on my work versus this author's work at all, because that shouldn't even be a discussion. The discussion is that this person reached out to me because I have more books out than they do, and they just wanted to bounce ideas around to see what my thoughts were. And yeah, it was just really humbling to remember that it wasn't that long ago that I was that person asking the same questions they had, and also that I still do that. I ask plenty of authors online and my other author friends and other people I come across. I ask questions all the time, and it's important that we do that, because the only way we learn and grow is by learning as much as we can. So I almost think that refilming this has been longer than when I originally filmed it. But I feel much better. I just like to be really transparent with this journey as it is for me, because everyone's journey is going to be different. But I know that when I was starting out, what was immensely helpful to me was watching other authors online through the process. And so I want to share as much as I'm comfortable with sharing. So that's what I've been thinking about a lot this week. Good morning, hello. It is Sunday. I've been doing the normal Sunday chores. I got laundry going, got dishes going, and I've been decorating the house for Halloween. Every year, if you are new here, you don't know, but every year, the Prokopis family throws a big Halloween party. Like, we go all out. We decorate several rooms of the house, have a bunch of people over, super, super fun. This year, we're upping our game in some areas, and we're taking away in others because it just wasn't worth like food. We catered food one year, and it just wasn't worth the money. People ate before, and then like we had tons of food left over, so we're moving our money in different areas. Anyway, that is what I have been doing today, is working on decorating the house. In a little bit, I am going to sit down and I'm gonna start doing some like forward thinking. I wanna start planning a little bit mostly for the next year and also for the next couple of months, because I have several releases, as you guys all know. The next one is this book, Winter Witches. It is not a new book, but I added a steamy scene, and I changed the cover. And so this book comes out November 1st, and my editor currently has the second book in that series, Frozen as Friends, and it will come out in December. So I am really excited. Lots of things on my plate for the next few months. And I think that they deserve some time of me sitting down and exploring what I need to do in order to make all of those things happen. I also told you guys yesterday that I started an Amazon ad, and I'm already getting data back. I'm exploring more, and I remember why I don't actually run them consistently, because the algorithm just doesn't algorithm the way other things like social media and stuff do. And so I feel like in order to really get my money back and get a return on investment, I need to dedicate a lot of money to running an Amazon ad for a very long time. And I don't want to do that, nor can I really afford to. I don't think it's in my best interest. And so I'm glad I'm only running this ad for a short time. I think I am gonna let it run the duration that I set it for, but then I think I'm gonna turn it off and probably not return to it, and just hope that all of those people that the ad gets pushed to may come back to the book. I don't know, but I'm gonna explore some other advertising options. I've already jotted some down. I have some ideas, things I wanted to explore, and we'll probably focus on more in 2025. But I want to explore some other things that I think may actually pay off more for me. I think that's pretty much my updates. I also need to start editing this video. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Next week, we'll be back to writing Trial of Flame and Wings, which I am excited for. I also need to get my newsletter out today. I'm a tad behind on a lot of those admin things just because of the release of Curse of Wings and Darkness. So there are actually quite a few little bookkeeping things and such that I need to sit down and do today as well. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the links in the description to find all of my books. Follow me on social media. I'm really active. We have a lot of fun there. And yeah, I have a lot of really cool things coming in the next few months and into 2025. So check me out, read books, be kind. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.